What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to Cowboys Daily. I'm your host, Rome. On this show, more updates from Oxnard as the Cowboys continue their training camp. A few more thoughts on the Rams-Cowboys scrimmage. Who we'll likely get to see in action in the preseason. And I'll end with some thoughts and tidbits, including a happy birthday to one of my favorite players. Cowboys Daily is the home of one fan's thoughts, ideas, and opinions on the five-time Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys. And that fan is me. I'm your host, Rome. Cowboys Daily is brought to you by the great folks over at FanArch, your source for daily fan-driven media. Check them out at fanarch.com to get the latest articles, videos, and podcasts for whatever you're a fan of. You can also follow them by subscribing at FanArch. Don't forget to subscribe also at Cowboys Daily as well if you haven't already. If you have, I very much appreciate it. All right, so training camp for the Cowboys continues to roll along. On Tuesday, the team participated in a joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams. The practice went really well, and I think in particular for the defense. The defense last year was, as we all know, pretty horrible. And around this time last year, we played the Rams as well in another joint practice. And it was pretty evident that the defense was going to be bad. This time around, however, there were a number of positive signs that the defense this year will look very different and in every possible way. New players, new coaches, new scheme, and possibly most importantly, a new attitude. A lot of this attitude, this mentality is being brought to the team courtesy of their new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, and it's translated well to the players on the field. It's been very obvious during the whole of training camp and during the joint practice against the Rams. But it was most apparent after their scrimmage with the Rams when the team, the players, not the coaches, decided to stay on the field and run sprints and drills. This really can be seen in a couple of ways. My first thought was that the team was still very full of energy after what I thought was a very good joint practice and wanted to show the coaches and themselves, most importantly, that they weren't satisfied. Another way to see it, and I saw this reasoning on a lot of Rams forums, and that it was a form of self-punishment after losing the joint practice. I mean, it was practice. And I'm pretty sure the goal wasn't to win. They can have that win, the Rams. If this really was the reason, then even better, because it shows accountability from the team and the players, something that I hope they carry with them throughout the entire regular season. Anyways, on to some updates. The first thing to note is that the team came out of the joint practice relatively unscathed, no new injuries. Nothing to report on that front, at least physically. Some players, though, are licking some psychological wounds. Terrence Steele, for example, continues to be a worrying focus on the offensive line. It'll be interesting to see if, or even when, Drew Shelton starts seeing some snaps with the firsts. We'll be seeing a lot of him in the preseason. Overall, the run game needs a bit of reevaluation. The offensive line had trouble creating running lanes for Javonte and Blue. Whatever yardage was gained was fought very hard for. Jaden Blue, riding high during training camp, really had a reality check and came crashing down to earth, struggling to get anything going and eventually fumbling the ball against the Rams. And it looks like the coaches really tried to work on the line's run blocking and the backs' ball security today at practice. The one group that continues to see improvement and continue to impress is the secondary. Caleb Downs saw more snaps against CeeDee Lamb. A lot of people are noting that if this were a real game, though, however, Downs would be flagged quite a bit. That's something I'm sure Christian Parker is keeping an eye on and has some solutions for fixing that. Kobe Durant and Siobhan Rivell are still battling it out for the starting corner spot. Both continue to have positive plays in training camp. Overall, the team has had a great training camp. The joint practice against the Rams really revealed some things, some good, and of course, some bad. And the team continues to build on those things. Next up is the New Orleans Saints, who come to Oxnard for another joint practice against the Cowboys. The Saints arrive in Oxnard next week for a joint practice against the Cowboys on Tuesday, August 18th, and it will be a reunion of sorts for Saints head coach Kellen Moore. Moore, of course, was Dallas's offensive coordinator from 2019 to 2022, with some stints with the Chargers and the Eagles between them. Of course, he helped the Eagles win their second Super Bowl as their offensive coordinator. The Cowboys, of course, will look very different to Moore from the last time he saw them. It'll be great to see him pal it up with Dak again. They both had a very close relationship during their time together in Dallas. And Moore's offense continues to look very similar to what he ran in Dallas with Dak. At New Orleans, however, his guy is Tyler Schaaf, and Schaaf's weapons include Chris Olave, Bryce Lance, and the rookie Jordan Tyson. Their run game isn't as impressive, ranking near the bottom last year. They're led by veterans Alvin Kamara and Travis Etienne. The Saints' defense, however, can pose a problem. Last year, they ranked in the top 10 in total defense and passing defense. And a good reason for that is their pass rush. Led by veterans Cameron Jordan and Chase Young, the Saints' defensive line will be another big test for the Cowboys' O-line, especially the tackles Terrence Steele and Tyler Guyton. They also have a pretty good secondary with some good cover guys, which should be a good test for Dak getting the ball out to CD, Pickens, and Flo. In their last joint practice against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Saints had a similar showing to the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys, the Saints' defense was the unit that made a statement. Chase Young estimated he alone had 6 sacks, but I'm sure that's a pretty generous number with some embellishment. That's a pretty generous number for a scrimmage. And like the Cowboys, the goal really was to just go out there, be physical, and get used to playing a different set of guys. That's something all teams will have to do week in and week out for 17 weeks. Unlike the Rams, who we play in the regular season in week 15, this is the only time we meet the Saints this season. After the joint practice with the Rams and the release of the first draft of the team's depth chart, of course, the question now is who will be playing in the preseason games. When asked about this, Coach Schottenheimer mentioned that the 2 first-round picks, Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence, are very likely to see playing time in the preseason opener against the Seahawks. How much playing time? I'm guessing maybe just the first quarter, if that. More likely just a part of that quarter. I mean, I'm sure the coaches, like everyone else, are dying to see how the rookies look out there in full pads, at full speed, and tackling, taking it to the ground. And I'm sure they won't hesitate to take them out, though, before anything serious goes wrong. More than likely, we won't be seeing any of the stars out there. I think it's safe to say the only big name we'll see out there will be Brandon Aubrey. I mean, someone has to kick the ball right. Someone has to kick the field goals, and there's no real backup to that position. It's all good, though, because we will get to see some important players out there. There's still a lot of positions with undecided spots. Of course, we won't be seeing Dak, but I'm sure he'll be on the sidelines, though, cheering the team on. But we will see the all-important battle between his 2 backups. I have a feeling Sam Howell will get the start in the first preseason game, and with just 2 backups, they might get an even split at the half. I think Sam will be able to move the offense and get some scores before his time is up. Now, who would he be throwing to and handing off to? I would like to see Jalen Blue get a few snaps before retiring for the night, but I'm guessing we'll get a good dose of Phil Maffa and Malik Davis in the first half, and then Abani Kanda and the newest Cowboy, Deshaun Corbin, to close out the game. As far as receivers, we most definitely won't be seeing CD, GP, Flo, and even Turpin. We will see the competition for the all-important 5, 6, and 7 spots. For receiver, Anthony Smith has gotten a lot of buzz so far this training camp. Camden Brown as well, Trayshawn Holden, all will see a lot of playing time. This will be the time for them to really make a statement and their case for making the final 53. And speaking of receivers, there has been word that veteran Marquez Valdez-Scantling will be getting an MRI for an injured knee, so it doesn't look like he'll be playing in this game or possibly all of the preseason games. And depending on the results, this might be the end of the road for the veteran with the Cowboys. Too bad, because I was hoping he could be a big part of this offense. At the tight end position, it's pretty clear now that tight end 1 and tight end 2 will be Ferg and Brevin Spanford, so we'll likely not see either in the preseason. More than likely, the team will carry only 3 tight ends. So this might be a farewell to Schoon unless he can really impress in these 3 games. I think Michael Trigg as the 3rd tight end will provide the team with a bigger weapon on offense. For the offensive line, this is the time for players like Shiaz Pete, Chris Glazer, and Ajani Cornelius to really put together some nice performances. There's no way any of these guys will be competing for a starting spot. But when it comes to the offensive line, backups can be just important as the starters. And for players like Drew Shelton and Nate Thomas, there's that slight possibility that they could snatch the starting job from a Terrence Steele or a Tyler Guyton. Slim chance, but still a chance. On the defense, the same thing with the starters. No Big Q, no Kenny, no Easy, no Rashawn. In the middle, I'm thinking Jay Toya, LT Overton, DJ Withers. All these guys still have a shot at making the 53. They just have to bring it during the preseason. For guys like Sam Williams and Marquise Bell, unless they really show something, they might be on the outside looking in come the regular season. Along with a player like Maris Liufau, who I still have high hopes for making the team, this might actually be his last rodeo. The one player I'm interested to see if he will play in the preseason is Siobhan Ravel Jr. He still is in a heated battle for the starting corner spot with Kobe Durant. And these preseason games, while they won't be defending against starters themselves, will be a good way to analyze each even further and hopefully lead to a decision on who starts soon. The sooner, the better, I always say. And finally, I want to end this show with a quick birthday shout out to one of my favorite Cowboys, Roy Williams. No, not the wide receiver Roy Williams, who will go down in Cowboys history as one of the biggest disappointments for the team. Not him, but the safety, Roy Williams, and the reason he was one of my favorites, because he could hit. Watch some of his highlights and you'll see what I mean for you younger folks. I really don't think he could play in today's league. He would be getting too many penalties. He was a big reason for the horse collar tackle became banned and penalized and becoming known as the Roy Williams rule. Drafted in 2002 as the 8th overall pick from Oklahoma, Williams won the Bronco Nagurski and the Jim Thorpe Award in the same year, the first college athlete to do that. As a rookie with the Cowboys, Williams was runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And the following year, after learning from one of the best to play the position, Darren Woodson, Williams was selected to his first Pro Bowl as part of the Cowboys' #1 ranked defense that year. That's an odd thing to hear. #1 ranked Cowboys defense. It's been a while. Known then by his teammates as Biscuit, the nickname comes from Coach Bill Parcells, who used to say of Williams that he was one biscuit short of a linebacker. The All-Pro and 5-time Pro Bowler played for the Cowboys until 2009 after requesting to be released. He finished his NFL career with the Cincinnati Bengals, retiring from the NFL in 2011. For a brief time, he covered Oklahoma Sooners football as a sideline reporter. Today, he serves as the president of a security firm and continues to be active in the community with the Roy Williams Safety Net Foundation. The Oklahoma University's athletic facility is named after him as well. This net foundation, the Roy Williams Safety Net Foundation, which he started in 2004, was inspired by his sister Alicia. The foundation serves to help low-income single mothers receive support, guidance, and assistance to enhance their quality of life. So good for you, Roy Williams. Happy birthday to one of the hardest hitting Cowboys to wear the star. And that's all I have for you folks on this show. Stay tuned for more from Cowboys Daily as we roll along into the preseason. I can't wait to see how the team looks in a full game in their full uniforms. I hope you're excited as I am. I'd love to hear actually what you guys are feeling right now. Are you feeling confident? Are you worried? Let me know in the comments below. Before I go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel at Cowboys Daily and also at FanArch. Ring that notifications bell too to get the latest thoughts, ideas, and my opinions about our Dallas Cowboys. Take care, everyone. I will see y'all around.